Pride. That's the classical answer from the Judeo-Christian perspective anyways. Pride and arrogance, that would be something like the presumption that you're right and that you're above it all, that you're on top. And you could see that as first of all, something very annoying to other people. So that's a problem, given that you have to put up with them. And it's also an impediment to learning, right? Because to be open to learning does mean, at least to some degree, always asking, well, what am I doing wrong? What do I have to give up? What do I have to let go of? What do I have to transform? That can be very painful. But so pride, that's one. That's a major one. Hedonism, that's a problem, and that's a kind of immaturity. So that's that desire for immediate gratification at the expense of other people, at the expense of you in the long run, right? At the expense of the general future. And so that's a very difficult thing to overcome. I mean, a lot of what you do when you're socializing children is you're trying to encourage them to become capable of integrating their various hedonistic desires so they don't conflict with one another, so that they can find their gratification in the long run in a manner that's commensurate with the needs and wants of other people. And it takes 20 years to socialize a child to become a full-fledged adult, and it's not like the process ends there. It's a very complicated process of integration and self-regulation. And it is upward. And why? Why is it better? Well, even if the goal is gratification, if one strategy allows 20 repetitions of gratification and the other strategy offers one gratification followed by regret and catastrophic failure, it seems pretty obvious, even by the standards of gratification, that the first strategy is better than the second.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Right.
Yeah.
So the iteration element of it is crucial. Now, is this a long-term playable game? Better. Is this the kind of long-term playable, sustainable game that I would like to engage in voluntarily and maybe bring others aboard equally voluntarily? That's a good ethical question. It's also extremely practically valuable. We were talking before this began about the utility that you found in putting together around you a very functional team. Well, a functional team is composed of people playing the same game and all doing it full-heartedly and voluntarily. Yeah, well, so that's an optimal solution, even if the goal is, say, the maximization of your success. Your success that comes at the expense of other people, that means that your definition of success is thoroughly flawed. That's all it means. That's especially true if the world isn't a zero-sum game, and I don't see any evidence that it is. There's no reason that your victory, unless you're envious and spiteful, sadistic even, there's absolutely no reason that your victory has to come at the expense of someone else.
I feel often, going back to your point on pride, I feel often our views of how pride shows its face are quite superficial, in that we think of things like ego and pride as bravado and arrogance and showing off, and those are quite immature, superficial. They're true, but you get what I'm saying? They're incomplete aspects. And I think today in the world, we see far more subdued, nuanced, hidden ways of how pride shows up in all of us and around us. One of which you pointed out earlier, which was like, I'm right, you're wrong. And this can show up on a daily basis, whether it's a comment section, a chat room, an online place, whatever it may be, that there's a feeling that ego rules us, not in the I'm the boss and you're lower down, but in I'm right and you're wrong, and my way is the best way, and my political party, my God, my whatever it may be, is better than yours.
Yeah, well, some of that is the attempt to obtain status, and sometimes that's predicated on the erroneous assumption that if you defeat someone, let's say in an argument, that you're right. Now, there's a certain amount of truth in that, because you can evaluate ideas in the ideational space, but you can be intelligent and unwise and defeat someone wise and less articulate in an argument and still be profoundly wrong. I mean, what you should be trying to do, and this is especially true in the confines, let's say, of a marital relationship, is